All right, well, I thought I'd drop in and say hello to everyone. It's been probably about a month since I've shot a video. We've been very busy, and of course we've been on a vacation as well, so I'll show you my cool little new shirt here. But we went on a cruise to the Bahamas. It was a really cool thing. Not as cool as probably RVing, but cruising is a pretty cool way to go as well. So with that, we have been back doing a lot of work, and we're going to provide a little update on it today on our first garden here at the homestead. So the first thing I'm going to show you is proper tools that we use. I learned this the hard way by starting off the wrong way and then getting back into the easier way to do this kind of stuff. Spend that little bit of extra money to make things easier. That's very important to do. and it took me some extra work to figure that out. But we're going to show you the garden, how we set it up, what we built. Also, I'm going to let Jessica come in and tell you about the different plants that we have in there right now. And then, of course, we're going to be expanding it as well, but we've just kind of got it going here for a couple of weeks now. So I'll turn this camera around and we will start showing that. Hope y'all enjoy the video. All right, so here's our garden. As you can see, this is surrounded by a fence that is set up with T-post and welded wire. And then, of course, down here at the start of it, we built this little gate that we can get in and out of, and basically we built this to keep the dogs and any bigger animals out of here. If something really wants to get in here, it will, but you see the little lock we got here. But pretty much it's just to protect it from the dogs and stuff like that. So overall it's worked out well, and this is probably, I think overall this is a 50 by 10 foot garden. So it's a pretty good sized garden. You know, it's our first one, so we will be expanding this as we go forward with this. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was, of course, using this welded wire and these T-posts. It's very important to use the right tools when you do this. I initially, back in the day, I've done these T-posts before, but I've always just done a couple and done them with a hammer. And by doing that, it, you know, if you do one or two, that's not a big deal. But if you're doing, I think we've got about 15 or 20 on this fence now, it does not work well for that. It will wear you out. So the first thing I'm going to suggest is to go get you a T-post driver. You can pick these up on Amazon. I'll put a link down below, or you can get them from Tractor Supply. So either way, you're good to go. Get them there. But definitely use one. It makes things a whole lot easier. And if you're doing a garden, we've actually had to stake up our tomato plant. So all these stakes you see here were all put in with that same T-post driver, and it made that a whole lot easier. So just overall, that is the way to go. So that's the first tool I wanted to talk about. And make sure if you're going to be doing any kind of T-post, you get this T-post driver. It makes a world of difference. I learned that really, really quick. The other piece I want to talk about is when you look at this welded wire, the easiest way to put these in is these little clips that they come with. And if you buy these, I did buy the post here from Tractor Supply, and if you buy them, if you buy up to 5, you get this bag of clips with it. These clips will save your hands a lot of work. So all you got to do is just kind of plug them in here, wrap your fence, pull it as tight as you can get it, and then just wrap that around and maybe pull it down with a pair of needle nose pliers, and you're good to go. So overall, this fence wasn't too bad. All the posts you see here, it took me less than an hour to get them all in the ground. To actually pull and stretch the wire, it took us maybe a day to get it done. It was me and Jessica doing it, so it wasn't too bad. And then, as you can see, we've also got a border around it here. We were going to do an in-the-ground garden. We did have all this dug up with a tractor from one of our friends. But here in Pikeville, there's just so much rock in the ground, it's so hard to do. So we kind of went with I'm going to say like a mixed bed garden. So we went ahead and put the boards on here so we could use it as a raised bed. But we did bury the stuff down in the dirt, and we put topsoil on top of it just to make it be a little bit deeper, because the deeper you get into this, the more rock you get. So that's the only way we knew how to do it. And over here, you see all this is sectioned together. And then when you get down here, we've actually broken this out, and I'll let Jess talk about the different kind of flowers that are in here. But these center sections are actually walkways. So we're going to put paving stones or something in them, and that's just basically so we can get to all the different stuff without literally having to walk through the flowers as much. So we are building in with walkways. Like I said, overall it's coming together good. We got a little black soaker hose here that wraps around all the plants up here. It's got a main connection back up here at the beginning, and more or less we've got a 100-foot water hose that sets back there by the truck that we can just hook up here and water the whole garden as we need to, when we need to. So if it's not raining, that's a good way to get water back to it. But overall, that is the layout of our garden, and I will bring Jess back and let her tell you about the different plants that are in here. So now I'm going to let Jessica tell you about the different flowers, how we planted them, and what we do. But before we get started with that, I'm going to show this. Jessica, put your arm up here. So
oh yeah,
this is Jessica's new I'm Cool tattoo. So as y'all know, she's a huge horror fan, so she got this tattoo. Actually, our other daughter got one with her, so now I've got to go get one. The same thing I've got to get put on my arm. So now I'll be getting another tattoo here soon. But just wanted to show that because I thought it was kind of cool. But first, we'll start with the flowers over here. What are these?
The first row, they're kind of smaller, but they're actually jalapenos. Those the first row are jalapenos. So we'll never eat as many as they produce. Honestly, we'll probably only need one of these plants. Okay. But I'm gonna try to make salsa from them, and I'm gonna try to use them as much as I can.
Yeah, and so we do have tomatoes that we'll get into here in just a minute with the salsa. And what's in the little...
Oh, I'm trying to grow cantaloupe seeds. So those are like something later on in the season. And the other one is sunflowers. We had a lot more space left than what I thought. So I'm going to try to get them to grow and see what we can get from them. If we don't get anything, that's fine. If we do, that's a plus. So just trying to
cantaloupe and sunflower starters, and these are something different.
No, these are just straight green peppers, and they're actually doing very well. We got two growing over here, which I didn't plan on, so we'll see how that works out.
We planted them, it ended up being
yeah, they sprouted two of them, so we got those, and of course there'll be a whole lot more than we can consume, but we'll try to give them to
the... the amazing thing, our plants here, this is only a couple of weeks here, and they have taken off.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll start with the... And as you can see here, so this first row is all green peppers over to here. Then it gets into like the first row is all jalapenos over
yes.
Here. Then it gets into like the peppers.
Yes, and we can give those to the rabbits, yep. Which in turn gives us fertilizer. So that's
because everything here, and I'll let her explain this a little bit better, but we are using our rabbit poop as fertilizer in everything here.
Yes, we actually, when I planted these plants, I put the rabbit's poop in the ground before I put the plants in the ground. So they got fertilizer as soon as they were planted. They got them. So that's all we're using as fertilizer as of right now.
Yep. So this is, I guess you could say, truly an organic.
Yes, that's what we're going for, is just simply organic, and see how much better they taste than the store-bought. Yep. The store-bought product.
And so now we'll start on the tomatoes. I know we got multiple styles of tomatoes. We've got 18 tomato plants total, and I'll let her start talking about the different ones. Here is one of our first tomato plants. And as you can see here, we've already got a bud on it. And like I say, this is only after 2.5 weeks, so we are doing very, very good with that. And what Jessica's doing up here is she's actually looking at the...
Yeah, I have to look and see.
We have all this stuff tagged as to what it is at the front with these.
These are beefsteak.
Like what you see right there.
The first row is beefsteak tomatoes, which the last one actually fell over on us. It was so big before we could even get the steaks in, it fell over on us. So Those are beefsteak tomatoes, which,
So
you
this
know,
one here by itself is a beefsteak, and then this row right here
Yes.
is all beefsteak tomatoes.
I'm not a big fan of those because they got a whole lot bigger core than what I like, but maybe they'll be better for canning. I have no idea. Maybe it'll be better for tomato juice or sauce, but
And this is all trials for us because we're learning
yes,
this stuff as we go.
yes, great. These are big boy tomatoes. This next row is big boy tomatoes.
All big boy tomatoes.
So I think those are more slicing tomatoes. Those are something that you know, we might be able to can. I'm not sure. But this last row is my favorite. These are Roma tomatoes. This is what I like to use because they don't have those big cores in them that you have to core out. I just love these tomatoes just for everyday taco salad, sandwiches, whatever. These will be ate as soon as they're picked. So
yep. So basically these first two will be more of our canning sauce kind of tomatoes. And these will be our daily use tomatoes, and probably give some to the rabbits here and there as we go through.
And then we had all this. We had all
Here's
this,
our
and this
open
is
section that she was referring to.
yes. And I
So this is
love
the
sunflowers.
yep.
So
this is where the sunflowers and the cantaloupe will go. And
Yes.
something else with sunflowers is hopefully, because it does give off a sweeter smell, it'll attract bugs and keep them off of the flower.
well, it'll attract the bees, and they do pollinate everything, and you have to have pollination to grow anything. So
Again, this little empty spot here is a walkway, and
Yeah.
eventually it could be something, but for now it's a walkway.
these are watermelons, and I've never grown watermelons, of course, so very interested. I've heard that they vine hugely, so I'm very interested in seeing what these are going to do.
And they are growing quickly. They have grown a lot just since we've put them in the ground.
Yes, I'm excited about the watermelons. And then this is a walkway in case the watermelons take over.
Yeah,
So
that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to split up these diamond plants in case it does
Yeah,
take over. We know where to cut it back at.
if the watermelons grow outrageously out of control, then they'll have room.
This next area is one of my favorites. So what are these?
These are strawberries, and I'm so hopeful that they will. This will be my favorite too. So I'm hoping that this will be a good crop of strawberries this year.
They have grown a ton since we first put them in the ground. So everything just seems to be doing really, really well. And again, we'll give you a full walkthrough. And we do have this back area, so I did put the fence off just a little bit in this back area, so we've got a walk through. But you know, like I say, this is a 50 by 10 garden, so 50 feet long, 10 feet wide. And even right now, we've got more in it than what we can eat. And we do plan on maybe taking some of this stuff to a farmer's market if it does really good. And we also plan on expanding this even more if it does really good. So we can go a lot further that way if we want to. And we can go a lot further this way if we want to. So, very cool. Well, Jessica, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm hopeful we'll get a good crop, and any comments would be great. Any kind of suggestions. Like I say, I'm first time at this, so I'm welcome to anything.
Yep. All right, and so this is this, and I will take y'all around and show you a few more updates that we've got going on around the farm here, and we'll end up closing this video out in a few minutes. And so I'm going to close this video out with a quick chicken coop update. So as you can see here, we do have the chicken run framed in at this point. For the most part, I do got one side here that I need to finish up, but just today we got the door built. Of course, all this has got to be wrapped in wire. Got all this set in place. I do have the door post that just got done today right here. And then I've got to add some more boards right here. And this thing will be ready to wrap, so we are planning on having it wrapped sometime maybe this week. And one of the things that we have learned in watching different videos, because again, this is a totally new concept to us, is that we need to have our chicken coop up off the ground. So Jessica has been working on this, leveling up this area to put the chicken coop up on these blocks, and that way it'll be off the ground. And then we'll make the chickens a little ramp to come out into here. But all this we hope to have this done maybe by the end of this week, and hopefully we can do a video of going to buy our first chickens. But all this is going to be expanded as well, so eventually We actually plan on this going all the way up to the garden area, because during the off seasons we hope to have the chickens in there and cleaning up the garden for us, because we've seen a lot of people say that helps out a ton. As you can see, Jess is up there watering now. But overall, everything is starting to come together, and then we got a couple of projects here we want to finish up, and our next big thing will be getting set up for goats. So I hope y'all enjoyed the update from the farm today. As you can see, we've had a lot going on. Of course, we've been gone some too, so it's kind of gotten us behind. But everything is progressing well. We hope you enjoy this kind of content. We are new to homesteading, trying to get all this stuff figured out, and we do have more RV content coming out here very soon too. So we're kind of mixing in both genres right now, but we're loving it because we're getting the best of both worlds and doing what we want to do. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you will leave us some comments below of any suggestions on stuff you think might help us here. And we look forward to hearing from you and getting all your feedback. Thank you all. Bye-bye.